All right, Baldur's Gate enthusiasts, we've been exploring and continue to explore the various character classes and kits in this game, looking at the Ranger and now asking the question, the Beastmaster. So when I say Beastmaster, what does that conjure up? How does that fit? How does that utilize in this game? You have access to a good amount of weapons. You have access to light and medium armor. You're not going to be wearing full plate. You're not going to be wearing chain. You're not going to be wearing the heavier stuff. That's okay because you'll free that up for your fighter classes. So as a primary tune, I find if you are somewhat martial-based, and the Beastmaster is a somewhat martial-based character, when you have limitations in your weapons or armor, that's okay because however you build out the party with NPCs, chances are you're going to have one or two other fighters that are going to boost your combat, but also that gear that you can't use will get funneled into being effective for them. Jumping into the powers, Beastmaster is kind of a mid-level type AD&D character, meaning you don't get your stuff right away. I mean, we see this with a lot of character classes. There's unlocks as you go. Beastmaster starts to shine at level 3. So you just got to kind of power through the lower levels. And then as you start gaining these abilities, that's where the spice comes in. Charm animal / person. That's big. That's a lot of fun. Yes, there's saving throws. Yes, there's uses. But to be able to pop that off, especially charm animal, where if you can charm some of the animals in the game, no spoilers, that have special abilities and take them over, that's got some bite, especially on some of the maps where there are no humanoids or you can't charm an individual. Charming an animal, huge. So to have that as a clicky power, that's a lot of fun. That's got a lot of utility. Hide in shadows. That's good. Frees up invisibility. Lets you kind of sneak up on things, maybe isolate a mage or remain hidden and scout things out. Nice ability. Preferred enemy. So preferred enemy is interesting because it's going to give you that big +4 attack and damage. That's going to stack with your attributes. That's going to stack with your weapons. That's going to stack with any items and buffs that you have. That allows a tremendous amount of damage as you go through the game. The question of which preferred enemy to pick, now if you're going to role play it, then okay, you role play it, you come up with your backstory and there you go. But for me, the question for the Beastmaster and the other Ranger kits is, are you planning to take yourself through just BG1? Or are you, no spoilers, are you going to go to Siege? Are you going to go to BG2? Do you, my personal opinion and my personal Tactica opinion is the more common monsters in the game, and we see this with the Archer kit also, I don't need to take things on the common side because they tend to be lower level, even in Siege and BG2. I'm going to be able to deal with them. I want to take some of those monsters like Beholders or Vampires. There's no spoilers in that. It's AD&D. You're going to come across them at some point. But these monsters got bite, and to get that bonus on it, it is going to make enough of a difference. So that's the decision there, taking the bonus on stuff you're going to encounter more commonly or randomly, or essentially taking it for those kind of boss fights from that perspective. From there, you get to also grab a familiar, and then you get to unlock some very limited druid spells. 8th level is where things really hit. Animal summons. So now Baldur's Gate 1 is all about the summons, to be able to summon. You're going to hit that level way later in the game, but now even as you move into BG2, the ability to summon an animal, to have summons for undead, to have summons for other aspects, you want your pets and potions. You want to be able to utilize that. So to have a character that can summon that as a Beastmaster, call forth that beast, in addition to or freeing up slots from, usually the cleric is the traditional summoner. That's kind of nice. I really like that ability. But if we're talking BG1, unless you go to a few select areas, you're not really going to power level, you're not really going to hit that level till much, much later in the game. But that's okay. If you're continuing to Siege and you're continuing on to BG2 and thrown, then you're going to utilize that ability. The Beastmaster doesn't seem to be played as much, which I see it as kind of a fun character class and one that works, especially if you kind of focus it on a second tier fighter. It's got a couple of clickies. It's got a couple of nice things that aren't found in other character classes. The only thing I can say is maybe after a while you'd be bored of clicking on those things and just leveraging that one tactica. But I would also say that's true for some other classes and completely and totally a matter of opinion.